It is July 5th, 2017 in Tarboro, North Carolina. My name is Kelsi Dew and I am interviewing Mr. Tommy Tucker. I am affiliated with the Edgecombe County Veterans Military Museum. Alright. So Mr. Tucker, thank you for speaking with me today and taking time to complete this interview. Can you state your full name?
Thomas Theodore Tucker.
And what year were you born?
February 2nd, 1921.
And where were you born?
In Dinwiddie County, Virginia.
And what year did you join the military?
Well, when the war broke out, 1940. I guess it was right after World War II was declared. Of course, I wanted to go, and my dad wouldn't let me because I wasn't 21. He said, when you get 21, you can go. So I was 21 on February the 2nd, and I left February the 28th or 9th, somewhere in there.
And what military branch did you serve in?
In a ground crew in the Air Force.
And what was your highest rank attained?
Staff sergeant.
And how many years did you serve?
Well, until 1945, so that's not quite 4 years.
And where did you join at?
I joined in Fort Lee, Virginia, which was Camp Lee at the time.
Why did you choose to go into the Air Force?
That's just where they put me.
Gotcha.
I went unassigned and unrequested. Just whatever they wanted me to do, I was ready.
So when you joined, where did you end up? After you signed the papers, where did they send you to boot camp?
From there, I went back to Fort Lee, Virginia for about 14 or 15 days. And from there to Biloxi, Mississippi for basic training.
Was basic training what you thought it was going to be?
Ma'am?
Was basic training what you thought it was going to be?
I had no idea.
Did you want to change your mind after you got through it?
No, ma'am, I was ready.
You were ready to go. So when you were done with basic training, where were you stationed?
Well, let's see, I finished. I was so many places. You mean permanently or?
In general, permanently or, I mean, well, to begin with, when you first got your first MOS, where did you go after Mississippi? And if you can't remember, you can tell me about anywhere you were because it's all important. It's all your story.
I don't remember where I went. But I know I ended up at Keesler Field at Biloxi, Mississippi for my basic training.
And what did you get assigned to do? What was your job?
My job was go to radio school, which I went to radio school at Scottsfield, Illinois.
All right. So how long were you in Illinois? And how long, was it hard to learn at radio school?
No, I was at radio school, I reckon, for 4 or 5 months. Then I was assigned to the 319th Bomb Group, 437th Squadron. to Keeslerfield, Mississippi. Stayed there until I was assigned to the 319th Bomb Group, 437th Squadron, and which was a B-26 Modern Marauder medium bomb outfit.
And what did you do when you were assigned with them?
Well, first thing I went to radio school, and then I was just a radio mechanic on mechanic for whatever the radio equipment needed. I was assigned to try to fix it.
Did you end up getting stationed overseas?
Yes, ma'am. Very much so. My outfit was sent to England in October, I guess it was, 1942. And from there we were sent to England. We went to the invasion of North Africa, which was in November of 1942, I reckon.
And what did you think about being in Northern Africa in 1942?
Well, what?
What did you think about being in Northern Africa?
I didn't care where I was at that stage of the game. I was just 21 years old and full of hell and really didn't care.
That's what you wanted to do, so it didn't
I
matter.
wanted to be in the service, whatever it was.
Excellent.
So I was sent to England, and we went several places in North Africa, and they'd bring us some new airplanes from the States, and we'd lose them in the war and get new ones and go from there.
After you were stationed in Northern Africa, was there anywhere else that you went?
Yes, ma'am. Well, let me think here. I stayed with the 319th Bomb Group the entire time until the group was sent back to the United States in early 1945. We stayed in the States 100 days. And from there, our outfit was sent to the Pacific.
Was there a difference between your experience in Northern Africa and the Pacific?
Was that what?
Was there a difference between what was going on in Northern Africa and
Doing
the
the
Pacific?
same thing.
Gotcha.
We were just flying our airplanes, flying. I was ground crew. I was a mechanic for the radio equipment and did what was necessary.
Did you receive any awards or medals during this time frame?
I don't remember any. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember.
Gotcha. So after you were stationed in the Pacific, is there anywhere else did you
No, we stayed there until, thank God for Harry Truman. He dropped the atomic bomb, and we left Okinawa, the whole group was disbanded and sent from Okinawa back to the States. And I was sent back for discharge.
When you were overseas, did you keep a diary or did you write home to your wife or?
I didn't have a wife
Not
here.
yet. Gotcha. Or your family, your mom, your dad?
Oh yes, I stayed in contact with my family.
Was there anything you did to bring you good luck?
No, just the good Lord looking after me.
When you got back from when you were discharged, how did your military experience affect your life coming back into civilian life?
I don't know it. I'll just. Well, anyhow, to start with, I had a very unique thing to happen. I was on the Queen Mary, which was the largest troop ship that the British had, carried us from the States to England back in 42. And on October the 3rd, 1942, the Queen Mary, this British cruiser, picked us up as escort. Picked up the Queen Mary. Go escort us into Greenock, Scotland, which it did. But in the middle of the afternoon, this British cruiser decided it wanted to change course and come over to the right-hand side. And when it did, the Queen Mary rammed it midship. I didn't see it happen, but I felt it. And it cut the British cruiser in half. Half of it went down on the stern and half of it down the bow.
And you were on the ship when that happened?
I was on
the Queen Mary.
the Queen Mary that hit
the
the ship.
And what happened what all went on when that happened?
The Queen Mary never cut speed. We had 17,000 Americans on there, and it never cut speed.
Well, that's an interesting experience.
I had some fighting experiences.
Well, tell me about some of them. This is the perfect time for it.
Well, I don't have much to tell except I thank God it was over. I don't know whether you're familiar with airplanes or not, but a B-26 was a medium bomber. And the B-26 was one of the fastest bombers that we had. There was a B-25 and a B-26, and the 26 was a twin-engine medium bomber, just what it says. And we landed in Arizu, just out of Oran in North Africa, and then we went up front, and Mr. Rommel ran us out. You were too young to remember that, but it is recorded that he was quite a German general. But he ran us out, and we came back to Casablanca and spent a couple of months regrouping and all that stuff. You don't want all that mess.
Yeah.
Not that I can remember all of it, but
No, that's exactly what we want. We want to hear your story and what you did and experienced, and that's what this is all about, is you. And you know, honoring that part of your life. So I appreciate you talking with me about whatever you want to talk about. So,
I really just don't remember it.
Yeah. Well, what did you do when you got out of the military? When you got back home?
I came back home and did nothing, hunted and fished for a short while, and then I went to work.
And what did you do at work?
I was hired by Suburban Propane Gas Company. And from there, I don't remember.
Oh, that's all right. So you were a few years back. You ended up here at the Albemarle and in Edgecombe County. And do you hang out with other veterans? Have you been down to the Edgecombe County Veterans Military Museum?
No, you know, I'm ashamed of it, but I have not.
Well, you need to. It's absolutely
I'm
wonderful
sure
in
that
there.
there's some paraphernalia down there that
We have several MREs from World War II that still has the peanut butter in it. So, but that's we have a lot of things down there, and I think you would enjoy it.
I'm sure I would. I just haven't done it. Just
That's a lot of folks. It takes time to get down there, and then when you get there, there's a lot of stuff, and it takes a lot of time there. Let me see what time it is. About 17 minutes.
I had quite some experiences, and just would not talk about them. Don't know much about them. Don't remember much.
Oh, well, that's...
But I remember checking the airplanes, and those of us who were in the ground crew would look to see the formation coming back and see which one of our airplanes were missing. And we knew that the jurors had gotten them. But I just don't.
Do you remember when you were serving? Was there integrated groups? Was there multiple races? Was it all just white folks? Do you remember?
The majority of them were white folks. I don't remember that we had any black pilots, but we did get some before the war was ended, of course. But to start with, I don't remember any.
That's something that I'm interested in, is the integration of the military forces and how, that progressed relations in civilian life. So
I do know that there was a black outfit that flew fighter airplanes. But I didn't have any direct contact with them.
got you. Would you say that the military impacted your life?
Ma'am?
Would you say that the military impacted your life? Had a big influence on your life?
Oh, it probably did. It made me respect a lot of things that I might not have done. I just thank God every day that I got back.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you did. And again, thank you for your service. Yes.
Well,
And was there any lessons that you learned?
yeah, what lesson?
Any lessons, that's right.
Well, I'm sure I left respect for my superior officers. I was just a staff sergeant. Now, if you're familiar with the military, or with the, you had your sergeant and your staff sergeant, your tech sergeant, on up the line, and I don't know, just some.
Yeah, but that's still quite a feat. That is excellent, and something to be proud of. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that I haven't covered?
No.
Little sporadic, but.
I don't know up in there.
Let's see. So what do you do with your time now that you're here in Tarboro? What do you like to do to pass the time?
Thank goodness for every day and ask the good Lord to come on and let's finish this thing. Let's get it over with.
Well,
I'm ready.
well that's a,
I'm tired. I'm worn out. And that's just the long and short of it.
well,
And my family knows I feel that way.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping that by the time I'm ready, I feel that way too. So, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me and
Well,
tell
I don't
me some
feel
of your
like I've done
stories.
much for you.
No, you have. You have absolutely. It's
I don't-
wonderful. I've got a lot of information, and I might come back down here and ask you some more questions because I don't know a lot about airplanes.
Well, if you ask me some direct questions, I probably can give you more of an answer.
That's your.
But just think about it. What I remember the days that we left New York on the Queen Mary, going to England. I remember when we landed at the Firth of the Clyde in Greenock, Scotland. And then I remember very well on the trip down to Norwich, England. And then we left there going to the invasion of North Africa. I remember that very vividly, but I'm not the best at telling you about it.
Oh no, it's okay. When you were in Northern Africa, did you interact with any of the natives there?
No.
That's something that comes to mind. And anywhere, even in the Pacific, was there any interactions with the natives, or was it mostly mostly military personnel?
But we had no interaction with any of the natives in the Pacific.
Well, do you think you were a new person when you got out of the military? You think it
I'm
changed your
sure
life?
that it was. I'm sure. Well, I just tried to do my part, and I was very fortunate. To tell it like it is, I was very fortunate. But when Harry Truman said drop that atomic bomb, and just within a week, we were on a ship heading home.
Were you
But-
excited?
Ma'am?
Were you excited to come back home?
Well, I was pretty happy.
Me too.
But I saw the world.
That's something a lot of people can't say.
I saw the world.
How long were you out of the military before you met your wife? You said you've been married
Well,
70 some
met
years.
you. I knew we came from the same little old town of 700 people, cats and dogs included. And she tells it that she had a date with somebody from the West Point, which was the American military, and that she couldn't go in a hurry. I ended up going with her to some formal dances at Farmville State Teachers College in Virginia, Farmville, Virginia. And first thing led to another, and first thing you know, we were married.
That's cute. Well, I hope to one day be able to say that I've been married to someone for 70 years.
Well, we were married, 70, working on 71.
That's a lot. That's devotion, and that's something that takes time and to learn as well. So, let's see.
And I'm sorry I can't give you a bit more, but I just
No, it's absolutely.
not capable of doing it.
Oh, it's fine. I'm gonna cut it off.